Coming up on Good Morning Texas, we take a look at the newest addition to the architecture building.
We see some UT students show us their best moves.
And one UT student turns her craft into a business.
All this and more coming up on Good Morning Texas.
Good morning, Texas. I'm Jillian Gayer.
And I'm Kylie Badgley. Thank you for joining us on the last summer morning of the year.
Last summer morning, and it's actually also the National Peace Day. Did you know that?
Wow, I didn't know that.
Also the job fair is today.
Oh yeah, I'm going to go to that, yes.
Yeah, I'll be going too.
I'm get an
weirdly
internship.
nervous, even though I'm a senior and I've done this a couple of times.
I know.
I guess that never stops. So.
Yes, well, also, innovation never sleeps here at UT, including in our architecture buildings. Jillian took a look at one of the newest and greenest additions to the UT campus.
If you've walked past Goldsmith Hall on campus this semester, you may have noticed its newest feature.
Some of my friends, they sent me Snapchats of it. They're like, Robbie, what the heck is this? Because I'm in architecture, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's our new green wall.
After 5 years of collaboration, the UT School of Architecture and the Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center brought this honeycomb structure to life. The cells on this new living wall are habitats for a variety of plants and wildlife that can survive in semi-arid Austin.
It's a plant and landscape that is used to a lot of extremes, extreme drought, sometimes extreme rain conditions. So we took that in mind and we actually took cues to what work in these extreme conditions to come up with a plant palette for here.
Even though the structure of the wall was completed this summer, researchers from UT are pulling data from it every day.
Right now I'm collecting temperature, light, proximity, and sound. And the idea is that if you take those 4 different things and you take them at a variety of places across the wall, then you can kind of get a feel for what's interacting with the wall in terms of wildlife and in terms of user interaction.
We're testing these things, so some of them are doing well and some of them not so much, but we are excited to say we've seen some things flowering, and when a plant flowers, it means that it's got the resources it needs to spend on flowering, so it means that it's fairly happy.
The researchers hope to see this prototype being used to inspire other projects around the city.
I know that there's talk about some parking garages that don't really give back to the environment at all, and doing something like this on it can make it an asset to not only the community but also to the environment.
I think that's the direction architecture is heading, to become more sustainable and to really incorporate and to create a linear process between the outdoors and the indoors and make sure that people are conscious of that.
Richardson says even people who do not know about the living wall's purpose are recognizing the wall and even snapping photos.
It is unique and it's drawing some attention, and it's something that started here. It's a part of the school now, and it's on our building, which is kind of cool.
Jillian Gayer, Good Morning Texas.
So how was that, Jillian?
Honestly, it was a really cool thing to cover. They made this new green wall, which is so interesting. All the architecture students were telling me that this is where the direction that architecture is going, that they're trying to integrate the outdoors with the indoors, which I thought was really interesting and cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. That's honestly not what I thought the architecture students were doing here. I thought they're making buildings, building things on a computer.
Right, and I mean, as a journalism major, there are so many things I don't know about going on campus. It's so interesting to learn about these new things in different departments, so it was really great I got to learn about that. Also, bake sales and parties are common events used to raise money for philanthropies. However, Alpha Epsilon Phi sorority found a way to raise money for their charity while showing off some dance skills. Our Rachel Monson gives us the inside scoop.
The Alpha Epsilon Phi sorority hosted the second annual Greek Get Down to raise money for the Elizabeth Glazier Pediatric AIDS Foundation and the charity of the winning team's choice. Of Texas students gathered together to watch sororities battle it out in hopes of winning money for their charity. Tri-Delt took home the win, earning the prize money for St. Jude.
It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of hype coming off of last year. We were so excited to win the first Greek Get Down Texas ever had. So we wanted to make it even better this year. So all summer we were thinking of ideas. We were so excited. We had a lot of our new members try out too. So all PCs got to take part in it. And we practiced a couple days a week. The girls put in a lot of hard work.
We stressed too though to have a good time, because this is for philanthropy, and no matter what, everyone here like is performing for their philanthropy. So even like no matter what happens, everything's for a good cause. And why work so hard and not have a good time at the same time? I don't know if they can hear me.
We had so much fun, and it was such a good bonding experience for all of us too.
Yeah. So we are still calculating our numbers. Last year we raised 20,000. I think right now we're at around 26 to 28,000. We still are calculating. So we've increased from last year, which is amazing. And we're excited to put all the money to our philanthropy as well as the winners.
I think all year Trident raises so much money for St. Jude, but getting to directly do that just ourselves, like, is so incredible. And this semester our whole chapter is going to St. Jude to visit, and it's just going to be cool to know that like what we did up there is going directly to the kids that we're going to be meeting.
I'm Rachel Melanson. Good morning, Texas.
So Jillian, you're actually in the sorority that put this on, right?
Yeah, unfortunately I couldn't be there because I was out of town this weekend, but my best friend choreographed it and a lot of my friends were involved with it, and I think it's a great cause, and it's actually the second year they've been doing it, and they've gotten a great turnout. I think it's been sold out both years, so that's really impressive.
Yeah, I know a bunch of my friends went, and I heard it raised a lot of money, so that's so awesome. So on another note, many students at UT have their own business. This week we are featuring one girl who turned a hobby into a form of income with her online jewelry business. I sat down with Maxine Kraft to talk about her journey as an architecture student turned jewelry designer.
My name is Maxine Kraft. I am a fourth-year architecture student here at UT. My store is called Craft by Craft. It's a jewelry store, mostly necklaces, like beaded necklaces, double wraps, pendants, chokers, things like that. I sell it online on Etsy. It's kind of like my main outlet for how I sell my jewelry, and then it's also at a couple boutiques like Longhorn Fashions in West Campus. So my last name is Kraft with a K, and I knew that I had to incorporate it some way. I have always really been into crafting and kind of like making my own stuff, and it was kind of when double wrap necklaces were just coming in style, and I really wanted one, but I figured I could try to make one myself. And then I realized how fun it was, and that like I could really learn a lot about business and marketing and fashion, just all this different stuff by doing it. I would say it's definitely a lot of work because you really have to build up an inventory and you have to make sure you have everything straight before you actually start it, but I think it's very feasible, and I feel like as long as you just put the time and effort into it, it's so rewarding. Fashion changes so much faster than architecture, which is what I'm used to, so I've been learning how to like keep up with what people like, and it's really helpful because my friends are always telling me like, oh, like I saw this girl wearing this necklace, but I like, you should make one, but like with this pendant on it, or like with these beads. So that's been kind of like, they've been a really great source of inspiration too, just having girls and friends everywhere telling me what to do.
Craft by Craft is just one of many successful Longhorn businesses. We'll be featuring more throughout the semester, so if you know a Longhorn business owner, be sure to let us know. I'm Kylie Badgley. Good morning, Texas.
Wow, Craft by Craft is a great name for a company, and her necklaces look beautiful. Can you tell me a little bit about?
I know, it was so, I thought the name was so clever, and that's such an easy like conversation starter. Like,
good for her, because that's a lot to do with school. So that's really impressive that she can juggle both things.
Yeah, it was so impressive. So, well, when we come back, more on your top stories and a look at this week's weather forecast.
All this and more on Good Morning Texas.
Welcome back to Good Morning Texas. We have Avery Travis in our news and weather studio this morning. What's the latest in the news, Avery?
Well, President Obama kicked off the annual United Nations Assembly in New York yesterday by urging countries to take in more refugees amid the current global crisis. He described the crisis as a test to our humanity and emphasized the moral obligation of UN members to help out. Obama also painted a dark picture of the world run by Trump without mentioning the GOP candidate by name. On the agenda for the rest of the week is fighting ISIS, forecasting peace in the Middle East, and ending poverty. An unarmed black man was fatally shot while seeking help for his broken-down car in Tulsa, Oklahoma on Friday night. Videos have been released that show 40-year-old Terrence Crutcher walking towards his car with his hands in the air as police officers trail closely behind. The officer who fired her gun is on paid administrative leave, pending a criminal investigation. According to the Washington Post, Crutcher was the 172nd black person killed by police this year. On a lighter note, the University of Texas at Austin announced Dallas Police Chief David Brown as the commencement speaker for the graduating class of 2017. Brown has served the Dallas Police Department for 33 years, but will be retiring this October. He gained national acclaim for his handling of the shooting in Dallas this summer, when a lone gunman opened fire on policemen. Brown attended UT as a student for 3 years before leaving to go serve his community. In a statement released on Friday, UT President Finvez said Chief Brown's lifetime of service and heroism is an inspiration.
Well, a lot of heavy stuff in the news these days, obviously, but I think it's kind of cool that Chief David Brown is going to be the commencement speaker.
Yeah, you're graduating, right?
I'm graduating, so that is the big talk of the town for my graduating class right now.
Yeah, you're going to get to hear a really good speaker. So how's the weather this week, Avery?
Well, tomorrow may mark the first day of fall, but we won't be seeing an end to this Texas heat and humidity anytime soon. Today we'll see a high of 96 and a low of 72. We can expect pretty similar weather on Thursday with a high of 96 and a low of 74. Friday will be a tiny bit cooler with the temperature peaking at 93. And for those of you with outdoor plans, be sure to grab your umbrella. The temperature is probably going to stay in the low 90s, but with a 40% chance of rain. We're sure to see some showers. So all I can say is welcome to fall in Texas. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Avery.
When we come back, we've got Avery Travis. She's coming back, and we're going to talk about TSTV's political show, Tower Talks, with us. Stay tuned. With less than 50 days to go until the 2016 presidential election, tensions are high as ever between the Clinton and Trump camps. This coming Monday, the candidates will face off in the first of 3 debates. Our political reporter Avery Travis went out to see what the UT students are expecting from the first debate taking place at Hofstra University. Many say they think the debates this year will be the most interesting ones yet.
They've never directly interacted in terms of discussing what they believe and what they think of each other's beliefs. So finally getting the direct conversation is going to be good.
There's been a lot of issues, and the media has taken a new role in this debate than I feel like it has ever before in any campaign run for presidency. So that makes me really interested to see this specific debate.
I definitely haven't decided. I'm definitely going to do my own research before I vote. So the debate will have some effect, but I'm also going to follow up on that, not just only look at just what happens in the debate.
So how do you think the students responded when you asked them questions out in the field?
Normally when I go out to cover politics, a lot of students don't really know, what's going on or how they feel about it. But this election cycle, people have strong opinions on both sides of the fence. Like you heard, a lot of the students I spoke with said that they were doing their own research on the issues and wanted to know what they were going to be getting into before the debate even started. So that was really, really cool to hear.
What do you expect them to discuss on Monday in the debate?
Well, national security and immigration policy are always going to be hot button issues, especially for these two candidates. And those were most of the topics that students that I spoke with wanted to hear about.
And do you think that this debate will have any effect on the polls either way?
So in July, we saw a post-convention bump for both Clinton and Trump. Historically, there's a small bump in the polls for one of the candidates after the debate, but most students that I spoke with said that they had already made their mind up. They had their candidate that they were voting for, and they just wanted to see how their candidate handled the issues. In the latest 538 election poll by Nate Silver, he has Clinton winning at about a 56% lead, and Trump following up with a 43% chance, but that's closing in quickly. This election's getting tighter and tighter. We've got polls out by NBC, by the New York Times, having them as close as 42-48, 50-50, really close race.
What could a win mean for one of these candidates in a debate? How much could it matter?
I think in an election this polarized on the issues, people just feel so strongly, as you could see from the students I spoke with. I think that the debate is just going to rile up either side just a lot more than it has in past. This debate means a a lot for this really, really close race.
Especially because these two candidates are probably the most polarizing candidates ever to run, especially among young people. A lot of people dislike them, don't think they're that truthful. So what do you expect the younger generation, how do you expect them to interpret this debate?
Right, so these two candidates have been called the most unpopular amongst voters, especially among our generation, students, etc. So, you know, Hillary Clinton spoke at Temple University on Monday, and she said, directly calling out to students, I need you to vote, I need you specifically, definitely trying to fill that Bernie Sanders-shaped hole amongst our age college students. But what I think both these candidates really need to do is start talking about the issues that millennials want to hear about and are facing. You know, they're both really active on social media, and they're both you know, touting themselves as change makers, but I think they need to start following up on the issues that students want to see to gain our millennial vote.
What do you think Trump needs to do in this election to make an impression? Not that he hasn't made an impression already, he's made an impression, but to kind of get, because I think in most polls, Clinton's a little bit ahead. It's very tight, but at this point, Clinton seems like she's a little bit ahead. Do you think that Trump needs to do anything to pull ahead even more?
I do think that especially amongst college students, both candidates have a history of evading the issues. So I think that's why the debates are going to be very important, is bringing it back to the issues at hand instead of just making this a dramatic soap opera like we've seen thus far. So
thank you so much for being with us, Avery. That was a taste of what's to come on TSTV's new political show, Tower Talks. When we come back, the Longhorn Singers will join us in the studio for a performance.
Welcome back to Good Morning Texas. We're here with the Longhorn Singers, one of UT's show groups. They're here to perform a medley for us, so take it away, guys.
1, 2, 3. If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band. That lead guitar is helping out for a Louisiana man. So rosin up that boat for faded love and let's all dance. If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band. I remember down in Austin, we were putting on a show when a cowgirl in the back stood up and yelled,
"Go Horns, go!"
She said,
"We love what you're doing, boy, don't get us wrong. There's just something missing in your song."
if you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band. That lead guitar is hopping out for a Louisiana man. So rousing up that boat for faded love and let's all dance. If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band. Break it down. If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band. That lead guitar is hopping out for a Louisiana man. So rousing up that boat for faded love and let's all dance. If you're gonna play in Texas, the eyes of Texas are upon you all the livelong day. The eyes of Texas are upon you. You cannot get away. Oh, do not think you can escape them. Not from the night till early in the morn. The eyes of Texas are upon you till Gabriel blows his horn. Hook up! 1, 2, 3. Texas fly, Texas fly, and it's goodbye to A&M. Texas fly, Texas fly, and we'll put over one more in. Texas fly, Texas fly, for it's Texas that we love best. Give 'em hell, give 'em hell. Go Horns, go, and it's goodbye to all the rest. Yay orange, yay white, yay Longhorns, fight, fight, fight. Texas fight, yay Texas fight. Texas fight, yay Texas fight. The eyes of Texas are upon you all the livelong day. The eyes of Texas are upon you, you cannot get away. Texas fight, for it's Texas that we love best. Give 'em hell, go Horns, go, and it's goodbye
so much. That was so great, guys. So be sure to keep up with us on Twitter and Snapchat throughout this week. You can follow us on both Good Morning TX. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Kylie Badgley, and Jillian Gayer was with me today. See you next week. Thanks, guys.